So let's start with, I really would like to hear really about like your journey. Like before we even met, like where were you? And then what made you kind of decide, like, I think doing this would be a good idea. Like what was going on that made you guys decide to participate?
Do you want me to go first? You go ahead first. Let's see. We started doing this at the beginning of like quarantine. Has it been that long?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was during quarantine.
So, because I had just been going through a breakup. So I was looking for a like community or just support from women in like a very safe place because I didn't feel like I had that. And we've been a part of women's circles before. Not that that's what this is, but and then we kind of had like I personally had a falling out with the group, so it was really hard for me, and I lost a lot of trust. My dad just came home, so let me. We're doing like a meditation thing with someone else, so thank you. So it was really, it was cool. I wasn't expecting it to be so nice that we didn't really know you or anyone else, because it kind of made it like we didn't have any preconceived like expectations or ideas or anything. It was just like kind of a very new thing that was fun. And I guess so. My cousin Kelly told us about it, and I've been told we have a couple family members that are really into meditation, and they keep telling me that I should get into it because I'm a very anxious person, and I've been saying I want to get into it, and it's just something that I have a hard time doing by myself. So it's been a very different experience with meditation, doing it with a group versus doing it by myself. So for someone who really struggles with being alone with my thoughts, it's really nice to be alone with other people who are also doing the same thing. So that's really cool.
Well, thank you. And Kathleen?
For me, I feel like I've been really trying to develop spiritually for, well, a lot more so intensely in the past 5-6 years or so, or something like that. And I think there's a lot of power in meeting with a group. For one thing, having the regular time is really good, because it gets you to do it. And like Margaret, I've wanted to meditate regularly, and I'm not that good at it. I don't do it as regular as I would like. But there's something about meeting with some other people, and it's been interesting meeting with other people that we don't know. And I have this I don't know, but I have an impression that they're from all over. And that's been interesting. I like the breathing exercises we do. I like the way that we the particular exercise you have us do, where you breathe and then you hold your breath and then that kind of a thing. I've never done it that way before, and I like that. I like the way that makes me feel. I like the sounds you make. I don't know where you do them or how you do them, but they're interesting. It's like clicking or funny things are just somehow helpful. I like your demeanor a lot. There's like, I don't know you at all. I don't know a thing about you really, but there's something about your demeanor and approach that I feel just an inherent trust for.
It's very
you
warm.
know, and that it doesn't feel phony.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it keeps me wanting to come back. I miss that connection of doing something kind of spiritual with other people, and I'm very interested in everything that we're pursuing. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you. So I think that's other things. I think everybody in the group gets a different experience. As you said, we're all on our own journey. We're all experiencing it in our own way. We're kind of here for the same reason, but experiencing it in different ways.
Yeah.
So I kind of would like to know, what do you experience? What do you feel that you experience when you're in the group?
I feel like in the past when I've tried to meditate, it always feels very forced and like separate, like my mind is separate from my body. And in this environment, something about it's almost like a class, but it's like you can't get away, you have to do it, but it's a good thing that you have to do. It's kind of like using a muscle that I've never used before. And I feel like it's not a muscle that I've been able to work on in any other environment, because like it's just easy when you're by yourself to not do it or to not do it properly. So when you do it with other people, it's just, it feels like I'm much more in tune with my body, and my body feels a lot more like like it's sleeping or something. It feels very still, in a very secure way, like I'm being held or like held in this space. Um, it's very, yeah, it's very comforting and safe.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
Something about doing it with others, it makes me feel like I have to invest more in a trusting relationship. Partially because I don't want to let anybody else down. You know, everybody's taking it really seriously. So, and I'm curious about everybody else. And even though I don't end up really learning anything about anybody else's background, I'm just kind of curious about what they experience and my take on what it seems like they're sharing and that kind of a thing. Um, it's yeah, it's kind of opening. I feel like I learn from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. And what changes have you experienced like within yourself after practicing meditation by yourself, like individually? And then you kind of mentioned a lot about the group already, but what do you feel is kind of happening internally? I know, Margo, you already said you kind of felt like you're coming back into your body, you're practicing a muscle, but do you feel or see any other changes kind of happening?
I feel calmer, more in tune.
Yeah.
I
feel like I know how to really breathe better and more carefully now. Like it's easier to do the exercises outside of the group after this. And it's also just in the sessions, I feel like I've had a lot of aha moments where I'm like, oh, this is a thing that I need to work on, or this is a tendency that I have. So it's cool to, and also with the card readings and the, when we like tuned into another person in the group and I got that woman who said all of that stuff about me, and like that stuff was just really cool to kind of think about, and like I had no idea what she was talking about. So it's been cool to kind of mold that over and see how that, like, oh, I see how that, what she could have meant when she said that. And so it's cool to see it kind of manifesting in my life outside of it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, it's making me more thoughtful between times, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit more aware, a little bit more looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for symbolisms too, and like seeing what things I'm noticing or coming in contact with throughout the week.
Well, and I feel like I'm trying to learn to trust that so much of what I in the past have thought of as being coincidences, I'm thinking more and more are not coincidences anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I really want to learn more about. Like when we share some things about meditations, and I'll share some things that come to me, there's a skeptical side that wants to say, oh, it's just this or that.
Yeah,
and then the other side of me is I'm more well, but wait a minute, why did that come into my head? Where did that come from? That probably does mean something, you know. Yeah.
yeah.
So it kind of sounds like therapeutic, but also
Yeah.
like you're like becoming more hyper aware. It sounds like both of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
More aware. Cool. And that's pretty much it. I want to know, oh, last one is who would you recommend? Who would you recommend that would find this most helpful? A person that is
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Because would it be most helpful to someone who's already open-minded about these things or someone who's not? You know?
Do you mean like a specific name that someone that we know, or?
no. I mean,
Oh,
just like a person, like I think not a name.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like, I guess the personality or the kind of person that would find benefit out of this. Because even if you're experienced, you can always use support along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of just, if you could, like one.
It's got to be someone who's into exploring, who's curious, who's seeking.
But maybe someone who isn't doesn't feel confident in their ability to, like, they don't really know where to start, or maybe they keep saying that they should,
Right.
or they're going to make time for it, and they downloaded like the insight timer or something, and like someone who is curious but needs more of a, like, more structure.
Yeah.
And also, if anyone is good for anyone who's curious about like symbolism and spirituality, because there is that side of it too. Although I don't know if it's separate, but I don't know.
I'd say
It's separate.
it's one and the same. I would say, but
I don't know. Like, I haven't really, meditation hasn't really been spiritual for me in the past, so that's why it's kind of a new thing, new way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Makes it more meaningful too. So yeah.
Well, I love that. I'm glad that this is working its magic and doing its thing.
Definitely is.
Anything else you guys wanted to share?
I don't think so. We'll see you in like an hour and a half.
Yeah. I will see you guys in an hour and a half, and then we'll re-meet again and we'll have a little chat.
Okay.
Do you know much about any of the other people who come, or they just kind of like are people who found out about you from other people, kind of a thing, and there they are?
Yeah, so some of them are actually my clients that I'm actually coaching, and some of them are friends from just looking and seeking that have been recommended to me.
Mm-hmm.
So just people that are seeking, people that are looking for.
Can you share anything about yourself with us? Because I'm so curious, like what you're, anything about you.
Yeah, well, I guess what would you like to know?
So are you a life coach?
Yeah, so I'm a life coach, and so I'm an energy healer and a life coach. So what I've done is I just combined the two.
Energy healer and life coach. Okay,
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And so the energy healing that you do via Zoom is like no different than doing it in person? Or should I say, how is it different, or what?
So like, let's say if you're actually going to get an energy healing, I think that would be more like an in-person thing. I do distance healing, of course. That's what partially of what I do in the life coaching. Yeah. So let's do life coaching. No, let's do energy healing and then go into life coaching. So the energy healing is something that I can do via like Zoom or in person. And this is just like a one-on-one, like one single session, or depending on how many sessions you like to kind of get through some type of whatever you're going through, whatever situation. There's more of like a spiritual uh, root foundation in that, in getting through issues, because for me it's all energy. It's energy that manifests into the physical, so it's figuring out what's going on energetically and tapping into like that realm of what's beyond the physical, and then kind of handling that.
And you can feel that from us. You can tune into our energy and work with it.
Yeah, so let's say Margo wants to do a session. So Margo would come in, we would sit down. What is it that you like to take care of? Or you don't have to say anything. You could just lay on the table and I'll just kind of work into the field. And a lot of times I will be able to see, hear, or feel. A lot of time I'm a feeler. So as I'm guided, because it's all guided work for me on my end, because it's not me really doing the work. That's why the name Sandora Kuma, that is the name of my energy. That's like my healer name. That was given to me by ancestors. And they're the ones that kind of do the guiding. So they communicate, my guides will usually communicate and tell me what to do, where to go. And that's how I can hear, but then I feel and see the energy. The story is kind of revealed through them, which I can usually talk about, and that'll kind of, the person themselves will kind of start healing by talking and by just conversation of what's going on. And then of course moving the energy with the energy healing techniques. So I actually practice that, and then like I said, using a lot of healing methods from like ancestors and plants and sun and wind and earth and sky and all that.
That's so cool.
So your story, it sounds like it'd be take a long time to share, and it's personal, so you might not want to share it, but so I'm guessing these are things that you have felt most of your life, that you've developed or something, or
all of my life. So yeah, that's actually funny because I have it kind of in my story that I share on my website. So it's,
I haven't seen your website.
Yeah, so it's okay.
We help answer a lot of my questions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it's soulivingco.com. It's a video. It's about 15-20 minute long, and it kind of goes through the story of like what I went through, and it starts kind of like the journey of a child to now, in that process. So of course, as a kid, I'm experiencing these things, seeing things, freaking out. My mom and my dad are like, you know what? It's okay. It's just your imagination. It's just this. It's just that. And I'm like, okay, but it never went away.
Right.
And then I was always suppressing. And eventually I got sick, and I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. And then from there, things just flipped. At that point, I couldn't deny anymore. I had to tap into like what's going on. And so then I kind of took a vow to really stay committed to learning and healing. So the first person I healed, of course, was myself. So I kind of went through that health journey, the physical health journey. Like no medication, no steroid, because it was an autoimmune disorder. So it was like uncurable, unhealable. My doctors wanted to like shoot me up with all kinds of hormones and steroids and this and that. And I just was not for it. So I didn't take a lick or a drop of anything. And I decided just to do strictly energy healing. And it healed in 3 months, and it hasn't come back.
Wow.
And no one saw anything like it. And that's when I knew. And that was without training. At the time, I had no training. And so when I was going through that health crisis, I found my first teacher. And then that's where I learned everything. And then 3 months later, I was good to go. And so and now I think it's been 5 years of just straight dedication to this. And now I'm ready to kind of, everything that I've learned, accumulated now, is to help other people and to guide other people to do the same thing. I feel like my goal is to help other people learn so that they can go help other people learn too.
I definitely want to learn more. I keep feeling like the other people know a lot more than I do, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that ever goes away. It's like learning anything.
Yeah.
The more that you learn, the more that you don't know, right? So with energy healing, it's a little bit different because you do get to a point where there's a baseline of what you know, and then you kind of feel like it's okay because the rest I'm being guided. But there's a certain trust that grows as you continue practicing. So trust and confidence that grows as you continue practicing.
Wow. Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
I really like kind of the paying it forward aspect of learning about, so that you can be that person that you didn't that you were looking for or could have used and such.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, any other questions?
I don't think so. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I do have a client hopping on soon. So as soon as that's done, I'll be starting the meditation circle and I'll see you soon.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thanks.